Shout out to me, because I was a smoker. And I did not smoke the cigarettes. But I have not smoked a smoke since December the 31st. And I said all of that to say, I believe that I have been dealing with some from the years that I have been smoking. Now, I've been smoking off and on 30 years. Howsoever, 2009, I tell everybody, I never, and because I say off and on, because I stopped smoking, start back smoking, and I have a family member that whenever I started back smoking, if I was around her and wanted to hit her blood, she was gonna be like, no, I'm gonna buy you some smoke, and then we could smoke together. I'm not going to be involved in your starting back smoking. I won't take that on, basically. In 2009, when I stopped smoking that, I attributed that to God taking the taste out of my mouth. A band of women surrounded me in prayer, and they prayed and they prayed and they prayed. And when I say I did not touch it for 3 years, the very next day after those women prayed, somebody that was in my life tried to come bring me a blunt. And we used to, our children were friends. And I was friends with him and his wife, but me and him was tighter. No, there was nothing at all romantic there. But he used to get smoke and give me smoke and all that stuff like that. So he tried to bring me a blunt that day after that band of women prayed around me. Started calling me Shirley Caesar. I'm in the bathtub. He's talking to me from the bathroom. I'm gonna leave the blunt here. I'm gonna leave the blunt. Shirley Caesar, what you Shirley Caesar now? I took the taste away from him. And this is somebody else that confesses to be a Christian. So for you to be condemning me because I'm telling you that God took something from me was really weird, first and foremost. I'm going to leave the blunt here. And I told him, if you leave that blunt here, it's going in the trash. So you might want to take it with you. So he wound up taking the blunt with him. I did not think about a blunt for 3 years. On November the 5th, 2012, when the God decided that it was Deborah Jean's time, I left my job because I had just left North Carolina by her bedside on Sunday. And on Monday, I got the call that my aunt was no longer living. I left work because my brain could not do it. The day was almost gone. It was about 2 o'clock when I got the call. Got off at 5. My brain could not do it. I went straight to that family member's house. That you remember I told you that I ain't smoking with you until you go buy a bag. I went to her house. Her and the girl sitting at the table. They passing the L. One of her girlfriends passes the L, getting ready to. I can't move this on. Not for real. One of her girlfriends, but I like to talk with my hands. One of her girlfriends passed the L over me, and I reach out my hand to get it. And she turns around and she looks at my family member. Because everybody knew. Everybody in our circle knew that if I started smoking and started smoking again, I was going to have to go and purchase my bag. And then she would smoke with me after that. When she passed that blunt over me and I reached my hand out to get that blunt, and she looked around at my family member, and my family member said, give it to her. She going to need it to sleep. And I smoked that day. And I did not smoke again. That was November the 5th. I did not smoke again till New Year's. I'm going to tell you why I smoked New Year's. Because in my mind, I did good. Because as of December the 2nd, we lost my aunt on November the 5th. As of December the 2nd, Her son and my sister were gone in a double murder. I ain't smoked that day. I fell to my knees in prayer. God encamped angels, literally encamped angels. They came and they prayed with me on December the 2nd when I got that news. And God kept me. New Year's Eve, I left church and I went to my girlfriends. They were smoking and I decided to smoke. And that started the chain event, the chain reaction. He came back with all of his friends. And Boo will tell you that whenever me and Boo talk about it, he say, go back to it. He come back with all the demons. For the last 12 years have I fought myself on a regular basis. So many times I felt like I just wanted to quit and it felt impossible. But all things are possible. But guess what won't go happen? God was not going to take that taste from me again. God was not going to take that taste from me again. God said, you're going to have to say no. Woo. You know how many times I said no and lied to myself? It got real heavy after I moved in here. Like it got real heavy after I moved in here. Lord, I need you to help me meet you at the no. God said, I done helped you. You're going to have to say no. So I said no on December 31st. All of that to say, those 12 years, I never remember a time before 2009 where it felt like my chest would just, it felt like somebody would choke in my chest, just choking my chest. Never felt like that before 2009. It felt like somebody just had my chest in a chokehold. Until these last 2 months, my breathing feels a lot better. My singing voice knows that my breathing feels a lot better. To God be all the glory.